Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where we are back talking about Manchester United, and we are previewing a game against Aston Villa this weekend. Of course, we are going to get into the tactics, how United can set up, how we can approach this game, things we can do, the lineup selection, all of that. But before we get into any of that, and I mean any of that, there's a conversation to be had. We need to talk about what happened last night against Porto. Of course, I broke the game down this morning in video form, but come on, let's be honest. We need to talk about it a little bit more because it wasn't good enough. I have an issue at the moment that I can't actually see the chat. Why is YouTube being such a pain at the moment? Okay, I've got the chat on my phone instead, so apologies if you kind of catch me looking up and down a lot. Also, apologies that we are streaming at a different time to normal as well. We might get a bit of a different crowd today. Because of the video this morning, I didn't have time to do a video and a stream. So today, we are picking, I should say, an 11 for the Aston Villa game. But I do want your thoughts on Porto. And like I said, today I've got the chat on my phone instead of on the screen because it's just not working. YouTube is being stupid as hell, and I can't figure out how to sort it through OBS right now. So, yeah, these things happen. Get in the chat and let me know how you guys are doing. Josh, good to see you. Callum, how you doing? David, great to see you, mate. How are you? Matt, football caca. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Really bad. Why did we buy Ugarte if we're sticking with a midfield without him? Was it rotation? Was it a case of getting experience into the team? Not too sure. Shouldn't we be playing the midfield we want to build our team around? Ugarte, Mainu and Bruno / Mount? You would think so. Like I said, we do have to consider things like rotation, etc. But it's difficult without knowing the reasoning behind it. Is it because Ugarte's had a slow start? Don't know. Thomas, good to see you, mate. How you doing? And we got David with the membership for 8 months. 8 months already. Wow. That's impressive, 8 months. That is near enough from where we started live streaming. So thank you very much, mate. I really do appreciate it. It's great to have you here. Eric has upset Callum. That's the final straw. Yeah, that might be his job done. You upset Callum, and I tell you, that's a bad move. It's a bad move upsetting that man. In general, though, let's move to the football pitch. I know we've got Villa players on the pitch at the moment. But come on, it weren't very good, was it? It weren't very good. There wasn't a lot of positives from this game. I've got a few things that, when we talk about Villa, that I actually think we did learn from the game about United and that we could actually take in to this game. But just generally speaking, it was so bad. I mean, it's like a domino effect throughout the team. I was saying it in my video this morning. It's like, because we can't get pressure on the ball here, the ball is moved wide easily. Then when the ball is moved wide, we leave a lot of space, and we don't have the players to track it. Then our fullbacks get pulled out, and then our centre-backs get pulled out, or have to deal with crosses into the box. And it's just this kind of constant domino effect from front of the team to the back of the team. And I would say last night, defensively, there was nothing good about the performance. Unless you say Andre Onana in goal, his shot stopping, phenomenal. Do you class that as defensive work? Yeah, it probably is. Outside of that, nothing good in my opinion. I think it was all negative. I think it was all bad. I don't think United done anything remotely well off the ball. Now, it would be wrong to say that's been the case for every game this season. There has been the odd game where we've gone, you know what, we saw this, or we tried this pressing structure, or we used this shape, or we used this trigger, or we were more compact, or whatever. There have been positives at times out of possession this season. But this game and the Spurs game, not so much. Now, the Spurs game, I felt, you guys would have seen, I blamed Erik ten Hag for quite a bit of it, tactically just being naive and not set up very well. I also put a lot of the blame, if you like, on the players as well. Physically not winning their battles, not being strong enough, not being intense enough. Last night, I don't know that was the case. I would still make the argument that Rashford isn't intense enough going towards his own goal. I would always make that argument. But last night, I do feel that more than anything, it was structural. It was a formation problem, if you like, a system problem. And that's where we're looking at Ten Hag a little bit more than the players. That's concerning. Because, you know, I'm of the opinion we don't have the most balanced squad in the world. I've said that a lot. My hopes weren't too high coming into the season. But you can't tell me that set of players should defend that badly. I know the profiles aren't ideal, but there's no excuse for the gaps we were leaving. We make it so easy. I said in my video, we kind of voluntarily give up ground and give up territory. Now, normally when teams do that, it's because they're really good at getting players behind the ball and kind of inviting that ball into the box and getting a head on it, get it away, low block, defend him, bodies on the line. Normally that's why teams would take that approach. But we kind of invite the ball forward, and then when teams actually come to attack us, we kind of go, ah, shit, we can't do this part either. This is a problem. That's where Manchester United feel like we're at, or certainly we were last night defensively. It was just nowhere near good enough. And like I said, I can't really think of anything good about it. David, as well as the 8-month memberships for himself, he is also constantly giving memberships to other people, and he has done it again. David, thank you very much, sir. As always, greatly appreciated. And shout out you guys for getting some love hearts in the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How did we do the double over Villa last season? Are you asking for literally a tactical breakdown, or is it kind of like a, how on earth did we do that? Lich's low point so far. Don't think I've seen close to as bad as a performance as that from him before. I agree. I think it's a performance that has been coming a little bit. I don't think he's had a great start to the season, to be honest. I've kind of called him out for it a couple of times. And I think Lisandro Martinez is still a great player. I think there is so much that he is good at. So much that he is good at. But I don't know if any of his strengths really suit where we are currently as a team, apart from the fact that he's really good playing out from the back. You know, that kind of individually he solves problems in the first phase. Apart from that, he almost doesn't actually fit into the current structure, and that's concerning. That is really concerning. For those of you that are just joining, I apologise for the fact that I'm kind of like looking away from the screen a lot. It's because I got the chat somewhere else today. So, yeah, apologies for that. Apologies for that indeed. Has the stream just died for anyone? Because it has on my phone. Are we good still? Are we still running? Guys, just drop a message in the chat if you can still see me. You might have to close your stream and open it again. YouTube is having an absolute nightmare this week. Absolute nightmare. Yeah, guys, just drop a message in the chat if you can still see me, because... yeah, YouTube just keeps closing the stream. It just done it for me. It's my stream. How's it closing it? If you have an issue with your stream, close it and open it again and you should be good. It's going to absolutely tank our views. Great. Cheers, YouTube. I'm not sure what's going on there. I said, it's this OBS update has just completely messed it up. Edwick says it's time to go. When Edwick speaks, we listen. He's a man of knowledge and wisdom. What do you think of the game, mate? What do you think of it? Just ended for me, had to restart. Yeah, if your stream stops, close it and open it again. If someone can put that in the chat, I'll pin it if you like. Yeah, if someone can quickly... Matt, if you can put a message in the chat, I'll pin it. If you wouldn't mind, please and thank you. Although I can't actually do it on here because I can't see the chat on here. Because again, YouTube's being stupid. Anyway, what were we talking about? The mess of last night. The focus being initially defensively. Something has to change. Something has to change. I think you may have noticed in the thumbnail for today. Over here. I got that big man on screen. That big slab head. Harry Maguire. I love that guy. Absolutely adore that bloke. Is there a conversation to be had that we drop Lisandro Martinez? Because he hasn't been good enough. Hasn't been good enough this season. He's struggling. And I've got a real concern in this game. I guess we should just go straight over there and check it out. I've got a real concern. Villa played Bayern in midweek. Aston Villa won 1-0. Now, Villa, obviously, as a result, are getting a lot of praise for that. A lot of praise for that. But I don't know that they were as good as what people are making out, but they did have one big threat. One absolutely massive threat, and it was this. When players in deep positions were able to get their head up with a little bit of time on the ball and do this. Yoink it long. And Bayern made this mistake, or, you know, it turned out to be a mistake, of going incredibly aggressive, incredibly, just man for man everywhere. Sorry, I'm just trying to pin this message. There we go. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it. Bayern went man to man, and Villa just went over it all day, all day, all day. Long balls up to Ollie Watkins. I think Cooper Meccano on this occasion. Really fortunate to not get booked here. This is a massive problem. And again, if we're talking about a Lisandro Martinez out of form, on a long ball, that's concerning. De Ligt needs to do some work there as well. Could we bring Maguire in? Maybe. Now, I think what we should point out as well is that this doesn't mean that Villa are, by design, a long ball team. I don't think they are. They're a team that do want to play out from the back. You can see it here. They've got the goalkeeper plus 6 players deep. 6 players short. They want to try and get on the ball. They do want to try and play. But I do like this about them, that if the opposition are really aggressive, they don't see that they have anywhere to go, they'll just go over it. And again, when you've got an outlet like Ollie Watkins and you've got these players up here, that first ball is going to be so important this weekend. Again, if we're looking at our centre-backs currently, there's a conversation to be had. And also in midfield, because not only is that first ball important, but also the second one, as it plonks down in there somewhere. Now, Villa actually weren't that good there in midweek, I didn't feel. But it's still something to look at. But if we don't get to grips with... Sorry, you can see again, Bayern man-to-man. But if we don't get to grips with this part at the weekend, there's no point in bothering. There's no point in bothering. So we're obviously going to... We're obviously going to come to team selection for this game a little bit later on. We've got to consider this. This is a problem. Villa are so good here, so strong. Credit Martinez in goal for them. He's worked on his technical game. His ball playing's a lot better now. His long balls the other night were always into good areas. Always into good areas. This is the first thing I'm going to have to deal with. And again, I think if we're looking at picking a team, of course, this is the team that played last night. If we're looking at picking a team, I've got question marks over this guy. I think we're playing a physical Villa side, by the way. Onana, Tielemans, Rodgers. Although Onana might be out. Same for Ramsey. We'll see. But they're physical. You imagine, right? They're going to go long. Watkins gets on that first contact. Bosh. Second ball drops. Rodgers. Strong. Can you imagine Onana against Eriksen on that second ball? That's going to be terrifying for United. That is something that we're going to have to look at. Yeah, no worries, Matt. Yep, no worries, Matt. Dalot is the problem, according to me. He was good before, not anymore. I think he's had a slight performance drop-off, to be honest, since I done my video, it seems. I don't know that individually he's the problem. I think his tactical role is having a slight knock-on effect with the rest of the team. I think his inverted role, where he comes in here, it does leave Rashford a little isolated, and it also leaves Lisandro Martinez a little isolated defensively. So I don't know that Dalot, by design, is the problem. The system that it creates at times is, in terms of where we've got players. But again, I think that comes to our centre-backs more than anything, just not being the right profiles. Yep, guys, just again, if your stream does stop, just close and restart. YouTube's having an absolute nightmare. I'll try and get it sorted by the weekend. We're streaming in a different way to normal. Hopefully, once I get that fixed. It's OBS and YouTube falling out of each other, basically. Not one player we have signed has played well. I think Xerxes had a bright start. A couple of off games. And I would say, generally speaking, I think Mazraoui's done all right, hasn't he? I think he's done all right. De Ligt. Couple of good games, couple of bad games. Who else we sign? Ugarte, probably too early. Too early. Get the likes up. We've only got 20. AJ does a great job analysing, this team. This team. If you could leave a like on the stream, it would be greatly appreciated. Again, I'm aware we've got less people in here today because, one, YouTube's messing up, but also different time of day. If you could leave a like, it would be greatly appreciated. It would really help. If you could subscribe to the channel as well, that would be amazing. Trying to hit 35k subscribers. So if you wouldn't mind helping out, you'd be a legend. Even Mazraoui has died in the last few games. Yeah, I think the whole team's performance has dropped in the last two, apart from Andre and Rashford, to be honest. Arsenal also go long if they can't beat the press, and Havertz is always winning the duels. Yeah, teams do it. There's nothing wrong with the long ball. The long ball's making a return. To be fair, I actually thought Rasmus done all right with a couple of them last night. Long ball football is back, though, ladies and gentlemen. It is. That is the modern game. The modern game is you want to play out from the back, you try and draw teams onto you, then you go long. By the way, I'm going to drop a little bit of I told you so here, but in a good way. Remember yesterday, we were streaming ahead of the Porto game, and I spoke about Porto push forward in that pressing shape. If you go long and get on the second ball, you can hurt them. I just want to say, go back and watch our goal from last night. Go back and watch the goal. Go back and watch it. Second one, I think it is. It is. Watch the second goal. Oh boy. In the meantime, there is a man in the chat who goes by the name of Nuruddin, and he has just dropped 50 gifted memberships. 50 gifted memberships. Nuruddin, thank you so much, mate. Greatly appreciated. As always, legendary work, mate. How are you? How are you after the game? I spoke to you before the game. What, did you say your heart said United win? We didn't quite get it, did we? We didn't quite get it. How are you feeling? But thank you very much. Forward gifted membership, as always. Class behaviour. Class. Can Lisandro Martinez play as a CDM? It's a conversation to be had. I don't think it's one that I want to have right now, but I think I might approach it after the international break. I want to see what he does for Argentina, because he's played left back a few times for them. I want to watch a couple more games of him at left back. Then we'll discuss his future in terms of positioning. AJ United Arena is back on Twitter. He is, and it's great for Twitter. Best account there is. By a mile. By a mile. That team gets beat 6-0. Yeah, this isn't our team selection for the game. This is from last night. Again, if you're just joining the stream, if you keep seeing me looking down away from the screen, it's because the chat is not working on here at the moment, so I've got it on my phone. I do apologise, it's not very professional. Nuruddin also with the donation. To whom it may concern, get on Pro Clubs tonight. Do it. Do it. Yeah, it's the second goal. Onana passed to Højlund. I think it's Eriksen wins the second ball as well, right? Which you just don't expect. But yeah, Eriksen got on the second ball, weirdly. Anyway, I want to do a bit of team selection stuff. And I want to start off at the back in defence and move forward. And once we have moved forward a little bit, I might then revert back to some clips, because there's something I want to look at in terms of a way in which I think United can hurt Villa. And weirdly enough, I think Villa showed this weakness in their win against Bayern, and I think United showed this strength in a terrible performance against Porto. It's a weird sport. But before we do that, before we get a little bit higher up the pitch, let's figure out this defence. Who do we want playing? Who do we want? Obviously, we've got the situation where we're a little bit low on fullbacks still currently, which is far from ideal. Far from ideal at the moment. Let's get Maguire in. Maguire's in the conversation. Johnny Evans, I mean, he might be, but I don't really back him against Ollie Watkins. What are we doing at the back here? Who are you picking? Eriksen might be more mobile than Casemiro. Yeah, that was the other problem last night, right? We had just no intensity off the ball. We invited them onto us, and then we had just that lack of energy in midfield. There was quite an amusing moment, actually, that like the game just stopped for half a second, it felt. Bruno's just been sent off. You're down to 10 men, right? What's the principle when you're down to 10 men? You want some players who can kind of work hard, cover a bit of ground, because you're trying to make up for being one player light. And there's just this moment, split second, where we have like this box shape, and it's Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans, Christian Eriksen, and Casemiro. And you think you're playing with 10 men, and that's like your core and your spine of your team. Obviously, they're all good players in their own right, but it just made me chuckle. It made me chuckle. Chad is inevitable. He is back. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Thought I'd let you know, mate. United play this weekend if you want to watch it. What about a shout for a back five? It's possible. It's possible. Do I really think it would happen? I'm not sure that Ten Hag would do it just out of nowhere, considering we haven't done it yet under him. I think when he's desperate for a result, would he go to a random formation? Possibly. But I don't think it's that likely. AJ, I felt Ugarte would have been good last night. His ball winning could have helped. I think particularly once you're down to 10 as well. Like I said, you're kind of looking for, well, had we made our subs by then? Perhaps we had. But just generally speaking, we lacked energy all night. Ugarte brings energy, if nothing else. So yeah, I completely agree. And like I said, that bit of fight, that bit of ball winning ability, I want it this weekend. He's going to be in my starting 11 personally. Conversation on the defence. We need to have this. Do you play Lisandro Martinez centre-back this weekend? Lisandro Martinez, do you start him at centre-back? Yes or no? Just one word. Yes? No. Let me know what you think. It's not like his current formation is working anyway. Yep, completely valid point, to be honest. Completely valid. I don't know if Ten Hag sees it that way. For people that are just joining, in terms of looking ahead to Villa, the concern is this. Time on the ball in deep phases. Bosh. Getting the ball long. Direct. Pulling players towards you. And then bosh. Going long. Going direct. Over it up to the forwards. Oh, and here's one more for you as well. Upamecano could have had a red card in this game purely from long balls. Because he just couldn't deal with Ollie Watkins. This is something that we have to consider in this game. Can we deal with that? Can we deal with that? That is something that we have to consider. Ooh, I'm seeing no. Yes, no. I would love to do a poll, but I can't today because YouTube is being stupid. It actually physically won't let me. because I can't do it on my PC because it's just not there. And I don't think you can on your phone. I'm seeing a lot of no's. Chad was probably the only United fan that enjoyed his evening last night. Valid. Oh, we don't want that yet. We'll come back onto that. That's a little spoiler for later. That's a little spoiler for later on. Keep getting your answers in chat, guys. Licher, yes or no? Centre back. We could have a conversation at left back. Because I think something we have to consider is... Let's do this. Take Lisandro Martinez out of the team. Tell me what you notice. Let's put Casemiro in. Let's put Eriksen in. I'll tell you what. You can put Ugarte in if you want. Tell you what, you can put Collier in. You can put Mount in. You can put Kobe Mainu in. Put Dangor in. You can put Bruno in. You can put Xerxes in. You can put Garnacho in. You can start all of these guys, right? You can start all of these players if you want. If you don't start Lisandro Martinez, I'm seeing a real lack of left footers. Now, I understand we're in a position where we probably need to go back to basics a little bit, right? Just be solid at the back. So you could bring Maguire into the team. Physically, you need output. You bring Maguire in. There is this problem. There's no left footers. There's no left footers in the team. And I think maybe other managers don't always put it as high up the list of importance. But I think Ten Hag does. And I think I do as well, to be honest. You need some left footers in your team. So without any left backs currently, are we almost in a position where we're half kind of forced to play him a little bit? Even if you want to play him out of position at left back. Fair enough if you want to do that. It's tough. I love this formation. Groundbreaking. Overload the midfield with numbers. I reckon we would just about physically match Villa at that point. And finally cover some ground. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Could you move Lisandro Martinez left back? And then do we have a conversation over here? I don't know. Could Licher start as left back and then invert like Dalot? Better progressive passer, left-footed in midfield for a change. Won't have to defend wide channels. Dalot, Mazraoui get to rest, or one of them do. Get one more centre-back in the team. Possibly. Possibly. The problem we then have, I think if we had Euro, it'd be a bit more okay, because he'd be here. But if we invert Lisandro Martinez into this position, we're now leaving Maguire as a channel defender. And I'm not sure that's dreamy either. It's the problem. It's a problem. Again, I said it right at the start of the season. Or before the season started, I think. There's a lack of balance across the squad. I think you can just about get a balanced 11 when everyone's fit. I think you can do that. But I think the second you take one or two out, I think the balance just falls apart. I think we see that here. It's a challenge. It is. Martinez left back, Maguire left centre back, De Ligt right centre back, Mazraoui right back. I was going to say it's tough to drop Mazraoui when Dalot's not played well in the last couple. So yeah, Dalot out of the team then. It's a tricky one. Because obviously the opposite argument is actually you switch it the other way, right? You now invert your right back instead. You do something like, let's keep Dalot in for now. You do that. Do we trust these guys in the channels? I don't know. Was Fernandes a lefty? Yeah, and he's playing bloody well. Yeah, he's playing really well. AJ, would you still sign Branthwaite in the summer? Yeah, at the moment I would. Unless something happens this season which kind of proves otherwise, at the moment I would. Drop Kobe Mainu and play Licher as an inverted centre-back? Possibly. I actually don't think you have to drop Kobe to do that, to be honest. I think you couldn't have them both in the team. I'm just thinking physically, though. I think we want Maguire in. I honestly do. Maguire as a central centre-back is low-key elite as he gets more time on the ball and is way better than the player ahead of him. With the player ahead of him, completely agree. The problem is I think De Ligt's better as a middle centre-back as well. If you're moving to a 3, I think De Ligt's better in the middle. I think Lich is better in the middle, and I think Maguire's better in the middle. Squad building. Lenny Yoro, unfortunately injured. I think he solves a lot of problems when he comes back. AJ, play Licher at left-back and Casemiro at centre-back. To be honest, I think if we're moving Licher, I think you just bring Maguire in because I think he's solid. I think he's really solid. Branthwaite over Lukumi. Yeah, the reason I wanted Lukumi so much last summer was because of assuming we're spending so much in other positions. So Lukumi was a bit more of that budget option. I think if you want to splash the cash on a centre-back, Branthwaite is the one. But I would take Lukumi all day as well. He's had a really nice start to the season. Ultra narrow back three. Yeah. What do you reckon, guys? Give me your back four for this game. Give me your back four. What do you reckon? Kind of final thoughts. We'll move to the rest of the team because I've got a bit I want to get through, but I haven't got too long today. I think you keep De Ligt in the team. He wasn't great last night, but he wasn't the weaker of the pair. I don't know that I would change the fullbacks either. I think it's a straight up shootout between Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe I'm saying it. Chad reckons we've got 37 likes on the stream, guys. Now, I'm aware we're streaming at a different time of day, but that doesn't mean you have to hate me. If you could please leave a like. We've got more gifted memberships than likes. That feels wrong, guys. That feels wrong. For Nuruddin, we need more likes on this. For Nuruddin, he deserves it. Back four is the same. Do you reckon? It would leave me worried. I think I personally would make the change and get Maguire in if it was me. If it was me. Maguire / De Ligt will get you better box defending. Completely agree. If you want to see a moron's opinion, check Callum's comment in the chat. He's my brother. I'm allowed to say it. I wouldn't say it to any of you guys, I swear. I love you all. What about playing four centre-backs? I don't know that we have four centre-backs that we can do it with is the problem. Do you want Johnny Evans in? It's a problem. Same back four. Yesterday only we talked about routines and continuity. Ten Hag has to learn from the notes he takes in game though. I agree. I'm a big, you guys that are here a lot will know I always preach. Keep a similar team, keep similar principles, similar core, build patterns. But I think when something goes so catastrophically wrong, you can start to have a look, particularly when the opposition have such a strength. We'll come back to it. Maybe we'll figure it out later in the stream. We'll come back to it once we've done the rest of the team. Let's move into midfield. Options. Casemiro. Bruno, who, by the way, you know last night was a mess, right? Because we had Bruno Fernandes get sent off again. And, I mean, we barely blinked. It was like, yeah, Bruno sent off. I barely saw anyone talking about it after the game. That's how you know it was an absolute mess of a football match. Our captain got sent off for the second game in a row. And we didn't... It just happened, really. Yeah, that happened, didn't it? Had to 10 men. Cool. I didn't even mention it in my video, I don't think. That's how you know it was... It was one of those nights. One of those nights. Anyway, midfield. Could be these three again. We've got a man called Ugarte who cost us quite a bit of money. It could be him. We've got Kobbie Mainoo, who we all know and love. Kobbie Mainoo. I want to see him play. Does he need to play? I'm not sure. Protect the hamstring if we have to. Mount, no idea if he's fit. Absolutely no idea. I don't know if Ten Hag has spoken today and given us any sort of idea. I haven't seen it if he has. Dan Gore was in the squad last night. Collier was in the squad, although I would be surprised if either of those two play. For me, it's these 5 players into those 3 positions. Nuruddin, thank you very much for the donation, sir. Very kind of you. I'm not going to read the message, I don't think, though. The 5 in the middle. Narrow it down to 3. What are we going for? Now, for me, we've got a couple of things to consider. We've got the fact that Morgan Rogers is a really nice ball carrier. Any sort of transition, he gives me Morgan Gibbs-White sort of vibes. Really nice, strong carrier. Uses his shoulders well, moves the ball well, difficult to stop. Put it like this, I think if he was up against Casemiro, I'd be a little bit concerned. Personally. I'd be a little bit concerned. I'd also be a little bit concerned if he was up against Eriksen, to be honest. Then I've got Onana, who may not be fit. He didn't finish the game in midweek. He went off injured. Had a pretty decent game before that. Physical. Mahusive. He's a big bloke. I don't really see any of our players that can naturally stop him. And then you've got Tielemans, who is physically not as capable as the other two. Still strong, but doesn't cover as much ground. Technically, really nice player. Really good on the ball. Always been a great passer. And seems to have sort of rediscovered himself under Emery. Just 2 seasons ago, it looked like he was probably done. He didn't look like he could move or affect the top level anymore. Then you see the value of a good manager and a good setup. He's playing really well at the moment. He's reborn. Looks great. Dictating big games. Big games. So we've got that to try and figure out. How do you set up in the middle here? How do you set up? I would be tempted by Ugarte. In fact, I think I just probably would start him. I think I probably would, personally. Maybe I'm alone in that. No, I don't think I will be. I think I'd play him. He's tenacious. He brings a bit of energy. You can kind of pick holes in details, consistency in duel, aggressive positioning, etc. I think the absolute minimum has to be get players that will cover a bit of ground. And I think he'll do it more than any of those other guys. So I would play Ugarte personally. 2 Onanas on the pitch, one is bad enough. Yeah, I think they've even got the same number, haven't they? Unless I've got their Onana wrong. I think we must predict or discuss what approach we would take. I won't be surprised if we possess the ball more. If we go that way, Eriksen starting is also a strong case. Yeah, I've got a big point to make on that. A big point on how you can kind of hurt Villa with a setup in midfield or a profile of midfield that you use. Eriksen does tick that box and so does Bruno. I'll tell you what, let's get onto it. Aston Villa defensively have a tendency to do something that looks like this, or certainly they did the other night. Opposition have got the ball. Let's chuck Martinez out of it for now. Let's take Eriksen out. Let's just do it like that for now, right? But it doesn't matter too much. When the opposition are dominating the ball, Villa, they can press, but I wouldn't say they do it relentlessly, endlessly. They're not always there applying pressure. They're fairly happy just to drop off a little bit. Now, when they were dropping off the other night, initially it looks like it's going to be a 5-4-1-1, or you could call it a 4-4-1-1 or a 4-4-2. Got a bit ahead of myself there. But what they often do is drop the right winger a little bit deeper into like a wing-back position. And they almost become this 5-3-2 shape. It's a solid shape. It's very difficult to get through. They have these kind of boxes. You can see it with these 4 players here. These 4 here. When this player's higher, you can see it with the 4 there. Really compact, really close together, really difficult to play through. They're all physical beasts in there. It's so difficult. However, what they do leave is spaces outside. Kingsley Coman done a nice job of exploiting this at times for Bayern the other night, although I think he should have done more, to be honest. But he can pull into these positions. There's also a space which you can create down this side. If you get runners off the ball and just force that line a little bit deeper, there's a space here which you can work in. And in terms of profile, I would say on the right side, you're looking for perhaps someone who can play the pass into the box, I think is what you're looking for. So maybe that's a Bruno or an Eriksen. I think on this side, a ball carrier can be quite effective. So a Mason Mount or a Kobbie Mainoo. Take a look at some examples from the other night. Like I said, this is in a game that Villa won 1-0. So they never actually got punished for this. But you can see it here. Kimmich has time on the ball. This is a central midfielder dropping out into more of a right-back position. Now, in this particular clip, you can see those 2 banks of 4. So they're 4-4-2 at the moment. Incredibly compact. If you compare it to United's 4-4-2, it's not great, is it? This is compact. This is difficult to get through. Tell me where the gaps are. I can't see them. You see the 4-4-2 there. As we move this along, you can see like these boxes that I'm talking about. These little zones that are really difficult to play into. Really difficult to play into and find spaces in there. However, I still think, whilst it is a strength for Villa in this position, I think you can exploit it if you move it. If you move it about. Because what you'll notice is you get this run here. I'm not sure who it is on this occasion. Is that Elise? I think it's Elise makes the run. Makes the run in behind. And he drags that block deeper. Then you get time here. And I don't think there's many players in the world that can play this sort of pass. This pass from Kimmich is delightful, to be honest. I think Kane's slightly offside, so nothing comes from it. But I'm thinking, can you get Bruno in... Let's go back one. Can you get Bruno in that sort of position? Coming in off the right? Possibly. Possibly. I think it's doable for United. If we move it on a little bit. Now we're on the other side. This is what we were talking about earlier. That right winger dropping into a wing-back position, into more of a back 5. It's Philogene on this occasion. But you can see he's almost taken up like a wing-back position. And as we move it on, you can see it there, back 5. lots of players deep with time on the ball. Because Villa dropped so many players back pretty quickly, it's going to leave space somewhere. And often against Villa, it is deep with time on the ball. Now, again, we're looking at, do United have the players to take advantage of this? Maybe an Eriksen could work. That ability, with the passing range. When the opposition are deep, get on the ball, keep it ticking over. Eriksen could work. Kobbie could work. Bruno, maybe if he's higher. But what you're looking at is actually asking questions of this back five. You don't let them stay in their position. You try and pull them about a little bit. Do they want to follow you deep? Do they want to spin in behind? Not sure. Coman done it well in this game. And if you just look at these two here, there's confusion. Because what you got here is a centre-back playing right-back, then tucking into right centre-back in a 5, and you've got a right winger playing right wing-back. There's confusion over who is meant to be going with Coman in this sort of position. And again, if you can imagine someone like Kobbie perhaps with this bit of time, picking the ball up in this sort of area, and drifting and driving, and trying to pop the ball about, I think you get something from it. Rashford could probably do a similar job in that sort of tight position as well, as long as he weren't there all the time. I think you could maybe do something there. Now, on this occasion, I believe they slow it down. They sort of force these Villa players back behind the ball. You see it again, that kind of little box shape, right? You're trying to force this lot behind the ball. And then you get time deeper. Again, this pass from Kimmich, again, is so good. Unbelievable ball into the box. But you can see where the time and space is. It's in a slightly deeper position where you get this chance to get your head up in deeper areas because Villa are a little bit passive. You get time to get your head up and you can have a look. You can find players. And I think that's something that United need to try and do. Find those spare men outside of the midfield. Now, this is where, weirdly, United actually done all right here last night. And Erik Ten Hag spoke about it. We must be better on the ball. We needed to continue like the first part. Keep switching where we had our free players. We had a good plan in our half spaces. We had our free players. So use them and more goals will come. I didn't like Eric last night, to be honest. Just leave it there. But I think this quote was right. I think United did actually find this space effectively. And it comes from Dalot inverting, which is annoying because it creates problems elsewhere. But you've got that box shape in midfield. United did do a really nice job of this last night, finding that spare man on the side. You can see Eriksen, time, on the outside. Can play it forward, we can get it to Rashford. Obviously, Rashford makes the magic happen from there. Quality play. But there are moments when we've done this well. We found that spare midfielder on the outside. And we've seen already, Villa do leave that space for you. Villa do leave that little situation where you can get on the ball, you can attack these spaces, you can attack out wide. And I think that's the way to go for United. Threat from deep passes and things like that. But I think also what you're trying to do is get players that can take people on. So your Rashfords, your Garnachos, your Amads perhaps. You're trying to take players on, trying to draw people towards you, and then here, there is room on the edge of the Villa box, and United done this okay last night. Looks like Bruno's going to shoot. He just shapes it last second. It's a beautiful little dink over. I think this is what we have to be looking at. Again, it's a half chance for United. And then this one here. Box shape in the middle. Where's the free man? Dalot, can you find him? He can. He's on the other side of midfield. Gets the ball across to him. Bruno gets it down. And now suddenly we're in this sort of situation. Where again, we're not in a bad position at all. So don't get me wrong, United weren't good last night. But I actually saw a couple of glimpses of things that for me actually suggest we could do something against Villa. And again, it's considering that was a game where Villa won against Bayern, but I think the weakness is there. I think they collapsed too early. I think they dropped men too deep. Now, in a way, it's obviously effective, right? Because you get a lot of players behind the ball. Good luck passing through that. But I think when we've got a couple of players, I think Dalot probably fancies himself from range at some point in this game. I think Amad, maybe. I'd actually like to see it, but I don't know if we will. But your Brunos, where is he? Your Eriksens, your Casemiro long shots. Maybe not. But even Rashford from range, I think that's where this might be a bit easier for United. I think trying to force Villa back and then working from distance might be the strategy for me. Let's have a quick look here in the chat to see what is going on. Bruno should at least get a 2 to 3 match ban. I assume it'll be a 1 match ban, right? Because it's double yellow. Eriksen is the only one fit for this role, the kind of Toni Kroos role. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. I think that's what United might need here. The problem that we have is our player that can do it, like you said, is probably Eriksen. struggles with the off the ball side of the game. That's the problem we've got here. Villa will be pumped up after the buying game, absolutely. That left inverting role needs to be abandoned. I think what the aim should be for United is to try and create the same shape with different personnel. The shape is obviously something like this. Have we got too many players here? Yeah, we have for now. The shape is something like this, right? That's the shape we're creating, and like you said, at the moment it's the left back inverting into there and doing it. Is there a way we can create this same shape without leaving a centre-back so isolated? Or maybe a more like ideal centre-back isolated? I don't know. One solution is that Lisandro Martinez shout, and you play a back four like this, and you ask Licha to play in there. There's an argument for it. Can we then get enough support to Rashford like that? Don't know. Genuinely don't know. I also think if you're playing in this way, you have to control the ball. You have to control the ball. I don't think you can move a centre-back into midfield and be open, because I think you're just going to get burned at the back. I think you're going to get really hurt. So that's one way around it. Other solutions? I'm not too sure. Do you drop Kobe a little bit deeper and do you ask Dalot to play a little bit wider? Although I didn't really feel that worked last weekend. It's a tricky one. Do you instead ask De Ligt to play wider? Do you do that, for example? Get Mazraoui up here. Maybe we shift Bruno closer to Rashford. Possibly, I don't know. Ahmad inside a little bit more. There's ideas, but it's a difficult one. 3-3-4. I quite like the shape 3-3-4. I'm a big fan of it. I don't quite know how you construct it with this United lot. Like that, maybe? Maybe like that. They will not sit deep against Ten Hag. Yeah, maybe they won't. I don't know. I wonder if they might, knowing that you almost don't have to go toe-to-toe with United. You can just kind of ask us to do certain things. We do it for you. And then you can exploit us. Like, for example, if Villa sit deep, they will know on the counter-attack they've got the players to hurt us. Jacob Ramsey, if he turns out to be fit, is a great ball carrier. Rodgers is quality. Leon Bailey's quick and skillful. Ollie Watkins is fast, direct, strong, brilliant outlet player. They might feel if they sit deep, there's just space all day to hit. I don't know. They might do. AJ, what about playing Licha, Maguire, Casemiro and De Ligt as your defence and inverting Casemiro into midfield and forming a back three of Licha, voice crack, Licha, De Ligt and Maguire? We could play Ugarte in place of Casemiro as well. The problem would be just when those centre-backs get pulled wide in these situations, you know, when we're dominating the ball, we lose it here. Bang, you get isolated. Do you want those players out wide? I don't know. I don't know if you do. Instead of a fullback to make our box shape, I'd want a winger like Ahmad can do it maybe. Yeah, I think Ahmad can do it. Like I said, this is the shape that I was sort of suggesting. I think you can do that. And again, I think always with Ten Hag it rotates. So sometimes it would be Mazraoui in there. Ahmad would be wider. Naturally, Ugarte would probably drop into a 3 at times and maybe Dalot inverts. That always happens. I think we need to try and keep this shape because I think we are better on the ball with it. And I think we at least have the option for control. And we've already seen how you can find that spare man in midfield using the shape. It's about when we lose it, figuring out how it then works from there. Onana for Villa injured. I'm not sure at the moment. He went off in midweek. I haven't seen the update today. I think Emery is talking to the press today, so he might have said something. But neither Onana nor Ramsey finished the game in midweek. They might be fine now. I'm not too sure. I think the major problem is in our pressing structure. It's a weird one, right, though, because I would argue last night we didn't even really press. It was more of the mid-block structure. And there's a reason I went like that, by the way. Because we call it a mid-block, we call it a low block. I've decided with United, for now, we're just going to call it a mid, and we're going to call it a low. Because there's no blocking there. It's not a block, is it? It's so open. So we're scrapping the term mid-block. United play a mid now, okay? Because we don't block anything. So that's the new term we're using. But yeah, I wouldn't say we pressed last night, really. Not that much. There's obviously moments where we did it, but I don't think it was the main problem. I think it was when we were settled a little bit deeper. The space out wide was just insane. Just insane. Ahmad in the floating number 10 for me. Yeah, I mean, this position is nice for Ahmad. I think it's where he's good. Again, the fact that these two can rotate and go both ways, I think is quite nice. Rashford injured from what I read last night. What I saw was that it was purely rotational. That Ten Hag felt that Garnacho would give him something from the bench, wanting that bit of energy. He said, here we go. He said Garnacho was our best player at the weekend. Now, I don't think anyone was great at the weekend, to be honest with you. But was Garnacho our best player? Maybe I missed something. Maybe me and Eric are looking for different things in our team. Because I did not think Garnacho was our best at the weekend, personally. AJ, you can call it a mid pathway or a low pathway. I like it. Yeah, we're in this kind of middle shape, but it's a pathway. It's not a block. Yeah, I like that. Or mid gate. The min aero block. Like it. Bit airy in the middle. Yeah. AJ, what about a 3-3-3-1 shape? 3-3-3-1. Kind of like that. It's basically the 3-diamond 3, which we have seen. City use this quite a lot. Did he actually say that? I'm pretty sure he did. I'm sure Ten Hag said he wanted Garnacho because he was one of our best. I'm sure he said he was my best at the weekend. I'm sure he said that. If I'm wrong, let me know. I would say Onana in the last 2 games has been the best. Rashford bright in the first half. Let's talk about that real quick, actually. Rashford left wing. Last night. Comes off at half time. Let's assume it's not an injury. What are your thoughts on it? I think I'm someone, unlike most, who I can see a little bit of logic. Defensively, he was bad. And we were leaking crosses down that side. I do get it. But he was our only threat going the other way. It's a weird one. Did he deserve... Was it the right call to take him off? Like I said, I see the logic. You're trying to improve your defence because you think Garnacho will give you a bit more going back. And normally he does. Because we then conceded so early in the second half, we then need a goal again. Needing a goal and not having your best goal scorer on the pitch suddenly doesn't look logical. AJ, is it true that you're dating Atlanta's football? Yep. Ten Hag said Garnacho is his best player in the last 3 games. Fair enough, Eric. I'll give you that. Fair enough, mate. You do you, bro. AJ, could Mazraoui play as a left back because he's 2-footed, isn't he? Yeah, he's pretty 2-footed. He's not as 2-footed as some players in the world, but yeah, he's comfortable on his left. You could do it. I don't know how much you gain by doing it. I think what Dalot brings fairly nicely is a bit of physicality next to Lisandro Martinez. If it is him that plays, I would still make this argument personally. You could swap them. I don't know how much you gain if you swap them. Although maybe if you do it this way around with the right back inverting, maybe Dalot left back does work. More physicality, I'm not sure. If Maguire didn't come on, I wonder who he would have picked instead. Well, we'd already used his super sub Johnny Evans, or he came on with him, so yeah, would have been low on options. Can't believe you actually read that message. Yeah, me neither, to be honest. I'm fuming at the Rashford sub. No tactical science is enough to justify killing your in-form lethal winger who is capable of flipping a game on its head. Yeah, I completely see that argument. I completely see it. You need a goal. Because it's 2-2 anyway. It's not like we were 2-0 up. It's 2-2. We need a goal. Taking off a player who looks really good at the moment. Really good at the moment when he gets the ball. It's always going to backfire. If you take that sort of player off in that sort of moment, you have to win. If you don't, and you're the manager, you're going to look like an idiot. And that's probably how it went for Ten Hag in the end. AJ, do United need a ball-winning CDM or a deep-lying CDM like Busquets? Purely dependent on the system we're playing on the day, the intent behind the football, how direct we want to be, how open we want to be, how slow we want to be. It's dependent on a lot of things, so it's quite difficult to answer without knowing exactly, still in season 3, what Ten Hag wants to do. Yeah, I guess that's an option as well, by the way. Could you go Maguire and Lisandro Martinez? I've lost Licha. Where is he? There you go, mate. Could we do that? I don't know. I think I personally, I like the idea of getting 2 big centre-backs on the pitch and going back to basics. We're going to get some physicality at the back. We're going to get some mobility in midfield and some bite and some tackles. And then some pace up front. It's what I like the idea of, like really dumbing it down a little bit. Villa are 4-4-2 out of possession. Yeah, they're a 4-4-2 that drops into a 5-3-2. Sometimes they drop into a back 6, by the way. They can do this. They're not afraid of doing it. Emery's defensive approach in the block is often just a lot of people behind the ball. It's why they leave those spaces a little bit deeper, outside the area. Long shots is where you can hurt them. AJ, do you think Ten Hag is the right man? When he first came in, I thought he was. I wanted Ten Hag. After the first season, I thought he was. I didn't think the football was great in the first season, but I thought it was a good sign that a manager could be pragmatic and get results. I thought we would then take a step in a different direction and play a different type of football. And I think we made that step to playing different football, but I think we just took a step in a direction that I didn't want. For me personally, Ten Hag doesn't play the football I want him to play. Simple as that, currently. That doesn't mean he can't be the man to win football matches. It means it's not to my taste. Can he win us leagues? I don't know. I've lost a lot of faith in the man. I feel sorry for him because, like I said, I do think the players are a problem as well. I still do. But Eric, he makes it difficult to back him. AJ, what are your thoughts on people saying we don't have a style of play? It always seems to confuse me because we see us play the same way every game, lol. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. We do have a style of play. I would struggle to label it still exactly quite what it is because there's a few games where it varies. But it's a direct style of play. It's a high-intensity style of play. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think the intricacies of what Ten Hag wants to do are still really difficult to understand. I can't personally figure it out yet. But I think the general idea seems to be quick football both ways. And it doesn't matter if they're shooting as long as we're shooting, right? Seems to be his approach. Apologies for the doggo in the background. AJ, I tagged you on Twitter in a tweet. I will have a look after this, mate. I'll have a look and hopefully get back to you if I get the time. AJ, I don't know too much about tactics, but do you know how Nagelsmann, voice crack, how Nagelsmann would line up with this team? I'm not going to talk too much about new managers at the moment, just because Eric's our manager currently. We've got an international break coming up after this weekend. I intend to spend my international break watching Nagelsmann's teams, for no apparent reason. Tuchel's teams, Amarim, there's a few. There's a few managers that I will be watching over the international break. If anything happens with Eric, then maybe those videos will come. They will. But only once Eric is gone. Or if Eric is gone. I'm not going to do it while he's still at the club. I just don't think it's right to. Plus, at the moment, I don't have the knowledge, to be completely honest. Our next manager could bring back the feel-good factor. I was losing faith after we lost to Palace last season. Yeah, it's weird, right, though, because Palace this season gave me a bit of faith. I thought we were so good in that first half, and it was... I keep saying it. I know we were level. But it's the closest we've been to what I want us to be. In that first half, I thought there was a lot of good signs. But it's just all gone up. It's gone. Don't exist anymore, mate. Don't exist. Shaw back after the international break. Any news? Don't know. I don't know if Shaw will ever return. I think he's with Malaysia in the Shadow Realm. For one game, Ten Hag should try Mount instead of Bruno. The problem is, Mount's always injured, and he's got himself injured again. I feel sorry for him. He's a magnet for him at the moment. They're unlucky knocks. They're little things, but he can't play at the moment. He can't play. I think we'll probably see it in the Europa League, assuming Mount gets fit, because Bruno's now got a suspension, but that'll be in a few weeks. Any news on Mount? Just that he was injured for yesterday. I don't know if he's going to be okay for this weekend or not. Not sure. Would you take Nuruddin as manager? Nah, screw that guy. What's the difference between Ten Hag's and Arteta's beginnings? That's a good question, to be honest. I didn't really follow Arteta's early Arsenal that closely. I kept saying last season as well, I want to go back and watch some of it to see what their process was like, but I never really got around to it. So I couldn't actually tell you, to be honest. I'm not going to pretend I know, because I don't. Do you think De Ligt and Martinez are the right partnership going forward? I don't think it's the most balanced pairing you're ever going to see. I think there are flaws in them as a duo. You know, we talk about centre-back pairing. You want them to tick between the two of them, say like these 10 boxes. I don't think those two do. I'm not going to completely rule out that it can't work. I don't think it works at the moment in the current system. Mainly because I don't think this fella, as much as I love him, I don't think he works in our current setup. I just don't think he does. So, can they play together? Yeah. Can it work in our current system, our current approach? No, I don't think it does. Not that it doesn't work. That it's limited. Limited. That's what I think. Arteta gradually got better. We're getting worse. Commentator said it last night, didn't he? He goes, with United, it feels like we're one step forward, 2 steps back. And I was like, you realise that means we're just constantly getting worse then, right? I don't know if he realises that's what he was saying, but... Should we get into score predictions for this Villa game? Should we get into some score predictions? Because I haven't got much longer that I can stay here, so... Give me some thoughts. Score for this game. What's it going to be? We didn't even get to the striker conversation. Like I said, today's a bit of a weird stream. It's a different time. There's a bit of a fallout from last night, but also trying to move towards the next game. It's a bit of a difficult one. Let me know your score predictions. I'm an ever positive man. I try to be. I'm going to go. Do I believe this? Yeah, I do. 2-1 Manchester United. Couldn't even say it with a straight face. 2-1 Manchester United. There you go. Convincing performance. We're going to blow them away. Goals from Bruno. He's going to score, right? He's just got 2 red cards. He's going to score. It's Bruno. I reckon Bruno scores. I reckon Rashi as well, you know. I'll be really interested to see if Ten Hag starts Garnacho, because those comments suggest that he kind of loves what Garnacho's doing at the moment. And I can't say I do. I like him from the bench. I think he's had a great impact, but... yeah, not sure. Not sure. David, I reckon you should try if we go on tonight, mate. I really can see a win. It's possible. Let's see some of these predictions. We've got 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-2, 6-1, of course. 4-0, 4-1. 6-1 Villa. Josh, I'm going to ban you, mate. A dodgy 2-1 win for us. That's what I'm leaning for. Leaning towards, sorry. If he starts with Bruno, 3-1 Villa. It's quite funny, right? What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I had a video lined up on Bruno and like how... well, just if, actually. If he still works for United, is he the right sort of player? Does he have a future? Can he play in a possession system, etc.? What's his best role? All of that. And then he just goes and gets sent off. And I don't think I can drop the video after 2 red cards in a week and defend him. I don't think it's the time for it. So it's been recorded and everything. It's not coming out yet. Maybe after the weekend, depending on how the performance goes. You're not going to see it yet. You're not going to see it. Condemned Rashford, you hater? No, I broke that streak, I think. Did he score last weekend? No, we got bad. Yeah, I think I broke the streak already, I'll be honest. No, it doesn't let you play without lag. Sad times, man. Sad times. Just move country. Show some dedication to the club, mate. Yeah, Rashford's scoring, guys. It doesn't matter. Even I can't stop him. He's just unstoppable. It's Marcus Rashford, mate. I think we're going to finish the stream there. Because I haven't got much more to say on Villa. I know what my fears are. It's mainly that they're like built and we're not. and that they're compact and we're not. I'm scared of Villa. I'm very scared of Villa. I'm scared for that man on screen there, standing next to Harry Maguire. Ten Hag. I'm scared for you, mate. It's a big weekend for him. It's a big weekend. It's been a big week. We said that from the start. The first 2 games haven't gone to plan. We've conceded 6 goals. When you say it like that. But I tell you what, he's got a chance at the weekend to get a performance from this team, to get a result from this team. Is he going to do it? We'll see. We will be live again at the weekend before kickoff. So I believe the game is at 2 UK time. So we'll be live just before 1 o'clock, reacting to the team news and kind of going over some final bits on how United are going to set up, how we can hurt Villa. Of course, we'll look at the Villa lineup as well. In terms of content before that, I wouldn't expect anything over the next couple of days, to be honest. The next video probably will be United versus Villa. So next time I see you guys, it will be the stream and then the video later that night. So yeah, I think we are finished there. I think we are finished there. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the stream as always. I don't know if the stream is going to stop nicely because of YouTube being an absolute pain in the ass. Also, justice for Chad. But yeah, as always, thank you guys very much for watching. I can't see how many likes we've got or anything like that. But thank you for the memberships. We had a lot of memberships gifted. Thank you for the donations and the messages with them. Thank you for the likes, subscriptions, whatever you want to call it, the comments, everything. Thank you guys very much for watching. As always, hope you've enjoyed it. Hopefully United give us something this weekend to maybe get half a smile for. I don't know. They might. They may not. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. So, peace. Actually, I don't know if this is going to close properly. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.